huge congratulations with your directorial debut. I mean, this is such an accomplishment, and I wondered really what was it about this story in particular that was the hook that made you want to helm it, really?
I suppose I just saw myself and my parents and my grandparents and the sort of struggle of what it is to have so much love but so much pain within family, and the American dream and the mystery of who our parents are. Yeah,
I mean, that's very interesting because, you know, I think Carey Mulligan mentions it in the film, you know, that we were people before we were parents, and there's definitely that feeling, isn't there, within the film that Joe, the young boy, doesn't necessarily know who his parents are.
Well, yeah, but I think you do, and then one day, right, you wake up and suddenly you realize, oh, your parents have problems, or they have a past life, or, you know, the Eden of childhood starts to sort of, you're thrust into the adult world, and in this film, this kid is really kind of pushed out into it. And I sort of remember that, and I think it's sort of beautiful, that scene in the diner where she asked him about his name and her age, and just, you know, discovering that they're people.
I think we have a tendency to put parents on pedestals, and actually they are just people, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're human beings, and I certainly, even though these parents make mistakes, I still love them. I don't condemn them for their, you know, for their struggle.
Well, and as an actor as well, when you're playing parts, you don't demonize the character that you're portraying, even though they're flawed. So
that's right. You have to empathize. And I think it's a search for understanding of us.
And with regards to the technical aspects of making the film, I mean, the film is beautifully shot and lit. Was that something that you always envisioned for the film, or was that something that collaborating with your DOP?
Yeah, I mean, all of that really. You know, from the beginning, first of all, a beautiful time period to step into and create a beautiful setting, right? And then, of course, I had a brilliant DOP named Diego Garcia, absolutely wonderful person and cinematographer, but also that's production design and costumes as well. I had a really great team. We worked together very closely. It was really fun to create, you know, the world of wildlife.
And the story is very much taken from Joe's point of view. I wanted to ask you about Ed, because he's such an accomplished young actor, isn't he?
Yeah, we were so lucky to find him, and I really don't know how I would have made the film without him, because he's a real actor. The film relies on his thoughts, you know, and the sort of space between the lines, and Ed was the only kid we saw who had it, so I'm sort of eternally indebted to Ed Oxenbould.
And watching Jake and Carey's work, kind of breathing life from the big screen, from page to the big screen. What was that like working with them, and how much did you want to let go and let them?
Well, yeah, for sure. You want them to challenge you, make it better, bring what they have. They're brilliant, beautiful actors, and I was lucky to have them, and hopefully I do the same for them.
People are drawn to things that they shouldn't be, is one of the lines in the film. And thank goodness that you were both drawn to this story, because it really is a compelling family drama, isn't it?
Well, we found it so. I mean, I think when Paul read Richard Ford's book, he felt a very strong autobiographical connection, even though the events of the book are nothing like the events of his life. I think he felt like it was sort of written for him. And when I read it, I saw a lot of the sort of same themes that I love in Arthur Miller's work or in John Steinbeck's work. Richard Ford's novel sort of speaks for itself, and we sort of felt like, oh, we can make like a classically American film out of this.
I think as well, you're the two kind of leading protagonists I saw them as idealists, and life kind of takes over. Is that how you saw the characters as well?
It's very much how I saw Jake Gyllenhaal's character, Jerry. I think he is an idealist, and I think life has promised him certain things. He's handsome, he's athletic, he was born a white man at a very particular time in my country's history, and life hasn't delivered on that promise. So he's disappointed in his idealism. I think Jeanette, Carey Mulligan's character, is more of a pragmatist. I think her life hasn't been as easy as his. When she talks about her childhood, you get sort of hints at family trouble, and I think that she is sort of like making do with what they have, and more can-do spirit.
And at the centre of the film is Joe, their son, and we see very much the film is taken from his point of view. Can you tell us a little bit more about, was the book originally that way, or was that something that you both adapted?
No, the book is absolutely from his point of view. It's actually from his point of view in the present tense, looking back at his childhood. And we were trying to figure out how to keep it in his point of view, but still get some scope of the parents' lives, some sense of who they are as people outside of his perspective, because ultimately we saw it as a coming-of-age story for the whole family.
And both of you are actors. How much did you want to infuse into the script about the kind of the backstory of the characters, and how much did you want to leave for Carey to bring, you know, their own kind of their own self to it, really?
Well, you don't cast actors as good as the actors that we have if you don't want their input and their and by that I mean like them to bring themselves to it. You know, you very much want that. We tried to put all the information that you would need on the page. I think we have our own ideas of who these people are, but we didn't need them to be the same as our actors' ideas.